Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Tuesday, December 9th. It is the 420th episode of the Rise Up Morning Show. We are so grateful to be here with you for helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto question, and no, didn't prepare to celebrate 420 appropriately. But I did wear a green shirt. Hey. And it's got a monkey on it, so I feel like that's kind of close enough. And Will, you're rocking the Jito hat, huh?
I am rocking the Jito hat.
This is like the Jito covered episode.
I have never actually worn camo before in my life and been like, this looks good. But then I put on this hat, and without the influence of money, because they are a sponsor, I was just like, damn it, I look good in this hat. I was like, yeah, I saw the camo and I was like, oh man, they sent a camo hat. I was like, that's probably not something I'm gonna like wear too often in my personal life. And then I put it on and I was like, but with this mustache,
this is my new personality.
But now this is my entirely new personality. And also I didn't like my hair today, so I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna put on the Jito hat. And hey, totally forgot that it was like a Jito focused episode.
Shout out to Doug Albers, who says December 9th is the anniversary of Charlie Brown Christmas being released.
Oh, hell yeah.
I like that.
Right.
Good fun fact.
I put it back on my list. I need to watch the Muppets Christmas movie.
Oh,
again, because, dude, it's been like 20 years since I watched it.
That is my favorite. I absolutely love it. It was the first Christmas movie I watched this season, and I even went to buy the bonus version on Disney Plus or whatever because I thought for sure when I noticed it was longer, I was like, oh, they put that scene back in. Well, I have to tell you, I have to spoil this for you. If you get this movie on a streaming service, if it's not a VHS or DVD, they take out that scene where Scrooge's past love, whose name is escaping me, sings, "The love is gone," and everybody cries. They took it out because they thought it was too sad. But honestly, the movie just does not feel the same without it. So,
you know what?
Yourself.
We need to have the sad moments in like those classic shows and movies and stuff like Bambi. It created an entire generation, you know?
Absolutely.
You gotta have some heartbreak. You gotta teach these kids that it's okay to feel all of these emotions.
Some age appropriate emotional trauma.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly
What?
Right. Yeah.
What did I come into? Wait, what's the name of the movie with the horse? Oh my God, I'm forgetting it. The trauma of every millennial, where the horse dies in the mud and gets like sucked down.
Oh
you know, classic.
Hidalgo.
No, not Hidalgo. Wait a second. Oh my God, someone's gonna get this in the comment section for me.
Yeah,
Never Ending Story. Thank you,
Racing
Robot Sticklers.
Stripes.
Do you know I've actually never seen that
Have you
movie?
guys never seen Never Ending Story?
Yes,
I'm sure Alex has. But
Alex has. Oh, Evan.
Evan, it's a movie.
It's a movie which you actually like are kind of, you're like an actor. So like there are these things called movies and you don't just act, people watch them. After they film you, people do watch them.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Someday we're gonna
watched, a movie today.
No.
The
Someday we're gonna be like,
God,
you've seen it. And Evan's like, oh no, I haven't seen it. I was in it, but I didn't see it. That would be full circle.
Yeah. Anyway, I watched Santa Claus with Tim Allen. Holds up. It's great. It looks awful. The CGI is like the worst looking thing you've ever seen because it came out in '94. But like the movie's still really good. I cried a little bit. I felt like the Christmas magic. It was great.
You know what I watched this morning and cried a little bit?
No.
Yeah, I was very annoyed because I fell down this rabbit hole on accident and then it ended up in repeated heartbreak. But for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Otis Redding fan. Yeah. And this interview with him popped up where they were asking about something. And first of all, didn't know that he got his first hit on a record because he was paid $10 to drive someone who was actually the recording artist to the studio in Memphis.
Correct.
And then he just ended up doing a track, and it was like the most popular one on the album. So he's like, "Oh, I guess I should do this, like for real."
That's awesome.
It was amazing. I love his discovery story.
But then, of course, YouTube was like, "Hey, would you like to watch the concert that Otis Redding sang one day before he was killed?" And I was like,
"Gotta say yes to that."
Sure.
Immediately, like, oh, just what a crime.
One final thing I'll add. One final thing before we get on topic here.
Go for it.
Is my brother and I accidentally started a tradition that like where we wrap gifts.
Which brother? Will or Will?
William.
Okay.
Christopher. William Christopher.
Got it. Okay.
And Banana Boy.
Banana Boy
And,
Christopher.
Banana Boy Christopher, where we'll take the old VHS tapes, because the room where we wrap gifts still has like the VHS player like as a part of the TV. And we'll put in old VHS movies, and it now takes us like the entire length of the movie to wrap the gift, except it'll always be like The Land Before Time, or it'll be All Dogs Go to Heaven, or it'll be like these old classic animated movies that will just rip your heart out, throw it on the ground, and then put it back into you by the end of the movie. And so we all just like come down, just like our eyes are red. We're like, ha ha. It takes us 2 hours to wrap the gifts because we're just crying.
Did you want to make grown
great.
men cry? Just show them like an animated movie about a lovable animal who experiences some kind of tragedy, man.
John
no
Wick.
Movie is sadder. No movie is sadder. John Wick.
Were you my dad or something?
No movie is
I
sadder than All
love
Dogs Go to
John
Heaven.
Wick.
I mean, John Wick's great. I mean, you know, wonderful.
The background like soundtrack music to my locked in work mode is like John Wick lo-fi, and I'm not making that up.
I mean, also, who just can't support the idea of this guy's dog was killed, and now
Gratuitous
he kills
violence ensued
everybody.
for the next
And
10
you're just
years.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
good.
I'm sorry. I absolutely have to ask. What is John Wick lo-fi? Is it like the soundtrack, but like
I thought you were about to ask what
static?
is John Wick. I was like, how?
No, like the,
no?
you know,
I've heard
like
John Wick.
the subtle like John Wick coded music, but like more lo-fi. I don't know how to lo-fi. You know, like background kind of like ambient.
I don't know,
sort
man.
of-
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Dude,
Just
there are
I'll send you a link.
Okay, segueing away from this, there are so many good comments. Tori says the room where we wrap gifts sounds so rich. OMG,
It's only opened for gift wrapping
yeah,
once
like
a
it's
year.
closed the rest of the year.
You know what? Yeah, no, believe that.
Oh,
Believe
But
that.
housekeeping and the wait staff still tend to the room in the off season.
Yeah.
Land Before Time, haven't heard that title in years. An American Tale is the best. That one is also
yeah.
really good. And Joey says there's a good docuseries on Stax Record. It's worth a watch if you haven't seen it yet. And I'll just tell you, if you want to see Stax Records, just come hang out and we'll go there together. I've been through the museum and they have Isaac Hayes like super awesome tricked out Cadillac in there. They have everybody's clothes and guitars and all this stuff. We have like 3 or 4 really good museums in Memphis, among other things. But I digress. I feel like it's about that time we could get to a couple of folks' crypto questions.
Yeah, maybe we should start the show.
Maybe we should start the show. It's okay. Wherever you are, whenever you listen, leave us a comment and let us know what your favorite childhood movie was that still makes you cry as an adult, and anything else that we missed today. I have a couple of brief headlines, but I'd be glad to know if there's a particular topic that you guys wanted to take it to.
Yes.
Yes. Great.
I do not really, so go for it.
Okay. So Cosmic says, first of all, and I'll answer this quickly, Evan says, Evan, why is there fiat on your desk? Have you, Cosmic, not seen my $2 bills? Anybody in podcast land? This is one of my favorite teaching tools, and I got them out yesterday because somebody was asking, what is the difference between a meme coin and an NFT? And I always like to use this example because it helped me. It might help you too. Non-fungible token, that's what NFT stands for. And fungible is just a $2 word that means exchangeable. It doesn't matter if one of these $2 bills is dirty, one of them's really clean. They're fungible, which means they can all stand in for each other. They're all worth the same. But if you had a $2 bill that you could prove was like signed by somebody famous like Elvis Presley, or you cared a lot about me and now you see that this dollar is signed by Evan Mann and you could prove that it was authentic, then that would make this $2 bill provably unique in a way that might change its value. It's now it's non-fungible. So I like to use that little explainer because visually I think it helps. And now I have a $2 bill with my autograph on it, and who wants it? Nobody. But it's my favorite teaching tool. The headlines I have here are more about TradFi. So I was just gonna kind of hit them. BlackRock. Did you talk about this yesterday, Will? filing
What?
the S1 for the staked ETF.
I don't know why everybody was so excited about it, because it's not their like they've
No.
started this whole thing like a month and a half, 2 months ago or so, and people were like, "They finally done it," and I'm just like, all you have to do is Google it once. I mean, I know I've done it before too, but like so many of us in the crypto content space have made that mistake of trying to be too fast, right? And then you get something wrong, and you end up pushing out something incorrect, and your brand gets hurt. Like, you hear something, put it into Google once, and you're gonna quickly realize that this all happened like 2 months ago.
So, my understanding though about why it's a big deal is because this is now the train is rolling.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes. So the train started rolling a while ago. BlackRock started the process like a month and a half, 2 months ago of getting or maybe it was a month, I forget, time's weird, of starting the Ethereum staking ETF process. And we reported on that and stuff. So I didn't even talk about it yesterday because I was like, this isn't news. This is just like the same thing continuing. So, but yeah, they're one step closer to having a staked Ethereum ETF product. The only thing that I find interesting about all this, because of course they're doing this, that's why I don't find it necessarily interesting. It's of course a very good thing. But what's going to be interesting is you're probably going to end up seeing outflows of their Ethereum spot ETF to go into the Ethereum with staking ETF, because like, why would you stay in their spot ETF product when you could be earning interest? So you're going to see probably a lot of outflows from the Ethereum ETF product into the Ethereum staking product, unless they have like some internal system that just like changes it and it doesn't represent an outflow. But still, you're gonna see a lot of money leaving the Ethereum ETF, and you're probably gonna see a lot of people being like, oh my God, everyone's dumping Ethereum like crazy. It's like, no, use Google one time. Use Google one time and do some due diligence.
They are dumping it. Send it back to 1,000.
Send it back to 1,000. Honestly,
thank you. Please and thank you.
That'd be great. Yeah, send it to 1,000.
I would not be sad about it. Okay, then how about this? The CFTC has a new pilot program that changes an old rule allowing Bitcoin, ETH, and USDC as collateral for derivatives.
I'm sorry, which currencies? Which ones?
Bitcoin, ETH, USDC.
Oh, interesting. And this is like a...
This is like a new thing. They have Carolyn Pham announced this.
XRP?
She announced it yesterday. Yeah, right. She I guess it's a reversal of a 2020 staff advisory something that now for the first time enables tokenized assets to be derivative collateral. This is part of the advancements from Alex the Genius Act. And her specific words were, our new guidance will enable tokenized markets, and we're cutting red tape that is outdated. Shout out to Unchained for the assist on the reporting for this story. So, you know, it seemed like one of those like quiet things that could be the move. Definitely will enable more velocity for capital, certainly more liquidity, that kind of thing. I saw a video from friend of the show, Erica Perk Insights on TikTok, who was talking about her journey to Bitcoin. She was responding to another creator, but one of the things she said that changed her mind about feeling confident in gold specifically as a place she wanted to diversify her wealth and protect it was, what's she going to do with it? What's she going to do with gold as value or like collateral for anything? Because you're not just going to take a gold bar somewhere. And the specific thing she said that was interesting was, there might be 6 merchants in my town who will accept gold and give me cash for it. And in a real emergency situation where everybody is trying to sell their gold, those people will be easily overwhelmed. And Bitcoiners, you know, the Bitcoin liquidity is just instant, everywhere, deep. I thought that was really helpful.
Did you see the CZ and what's his face?
Oh, dude, the sell me this pen? Yeah.
Yep.
You read people in, and I'll pull the video up because I tweeted about it.
There was I don't know what the occasion was, but there was an instance where at some event, CZ was on stage with. Would have been cool if it was someone other than CZ, but you know, you take what you can get, I guess.
Yeah.
And what the hell is his name? Goldbug.
I have absolutely no idea. He's just he's a
Peter-
white guy with
Peter
a
Schiff?
Peter Schiff.
Peter
Schiff. Yeah, sorry. Duh. And it was the gold versus Bitcoin debate, and CZ kicked it off, and he like brings out this little case, and in the little case is this gold bar stamped with it's from Kyrgyzstan, and it has the purity of the gold written on it and whatever. There you go, on the big screen, and it's labeled appropriately, 1,000 grams, whatever. Shows it to Peter Schiff, and then Peter Schiff's like, oh yeah, okay, here you go. Actually, he played into it so much that it almost made me think that the two of them were arguing for Bitcoin, because this was like a really weak position to be like the gold bug in this particular debate. And then CZ's just like, is it real? And he's like, I mean, I don't know. I would assume maybe you're handing it to me, so maybe not. And he's like, oh, well, if only there was a way that anybody could tell right away without any of this guesswork.
It was really smooth. In a debate where you had to, Bitcoin versus gold, I felt like it was a mic drop.
It was the best, most succinct little that I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then CZ got off stage and forced liquidations of longs and shorts.
And he got off stage
to the tunes of billions of dollars.
And hosed all of us.
CZ is not at the helm of Binance anymore.
Okay.
You don't think he's driving the ship a little with the private keys in the back? Doing some,
and every president has divested from their personal interests and their conflicts and their.
Yeah, they do, because politicians are good people, and so too are.
That's right. I forgot.
I mean, yeah,
sorry,
you got it.
I got distracted by everything all of them have ever done.
Right.
Speaking of distractions,
right.
I just saw.
Easy to let that get in the way.
I just saw that Uniswap is in the chat, and I want to shout out all the brands who are making time to spend time with us and all the curious people here on Crypto TikTok. I want to thank all the friends who are listening in the arena. I want to thank everybody listening in podcast land. We're definitely seeing a lot more major crypto brands make their way to where the people are, and I absolutely love it. Shout out to our friends at Aave, and in a special shout out to all of the brand partners that make this show possible. I'm talking about Jito, Unlock Protocol, The White Whale, Polygon, and of course Arculus, the official cold storage sponsor of the Rise Up Morning Show. We love them all. We appreciate everything they do to help us tell a better story. If you're listening and you've got a crypto question, you got a comment, you have a suggestion for a brand we should bring on the show to work with, let me know. Tomorrow we are going to have Brandon and Jerry. I'm talking about, if you're on the arena, you already know these guys and you love them. I don't know what the branding they settled on for their show is. And so I'm sorry, guys, if you're listening right now. I meant to ask to confirm. I need to do it before we're on tomorrow. We had talked about Exit Liquidity was, I think, the last thing I had heard for the brand, which I love. But they're excellent. They're going to be here tomorrow. We're going to introduce them to you if you don't know them. And then Thursday, Nick Ria is joining the show. He is the man behind Aave's video content over on TikTok. And I must say, in addition to being a delightful fellow, his content, his storytelling is really thoughtful, really well done. They just did a video the other day that
so good.
I saw on Twitter where they were talking about who is crypto really for. And when we talk about Argentinians, he was saying, because we were just there for the World Fair, using crypto, what do we really mean? Are they using it to get rich, or are they using it because they need to survive? It reminded me of when you quoted Lindsay recently, Alex, about how most of the world is just trying to make their money work. I butchered it, but that's the reality we're in.
Yeah, that's it. That video was great. Just even just the clip of the repeated attempt to make a small withdrawal from a bank, just failing over and over and over and over again.
And also, Aave's page is the perfect entrance into TikTok for a corporate account. It's perfect, especially focused on DeFi. Because they've come in, they're just like, we're not just talking about Aave. We're educating people about the history of money, and through that education, highlighting how and why there are problems here or there, and then bleeding up into their most recent video, which is just like, this is the problem of true inflation and the debasement of currency. In case in point, Argentina. Inflation's a problem. Crypto's being used for that. Highlighting, after you go through the history of money, here's the problem today in a lot of different countries, and exactly why Satoshi's vision is so useful, practical, and impactful on daily lives of people. And I'm just like, this is it. this is what you do as a corporate account. If you're going to make your own content, it's this kind of stuff. It's great. It's awesome. And I saw a comment here from Jay that was like, hey, Ave teaching people about the history of money is just like mwah, 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 chef's kiss. And I'm like, it's so good. It's exactly what corporate accounts should be doing.
Dang.
Couldn't agree more. You got to be a person first. I saw your tweet about it,
You gotta
Alex.
be helpful. You can't just sell yourself. No one wants to be sold to. You need to be helpful.
Yes, and I will say Ave does need a blue check. Shout out to Solom in the comments who pointed this out. It's funny because I was talking to them yesterday, and they were saying that they've been going into more TikTok places, especially trying to explore this app, and that nobody believes it's actually them.
No, true.
They're
yeah.
like,
They also
oh,
see,
fake Ave in the chat, fake Ave.
Yeah. They also see like 400 followers, and it's just like, guys, they're new. They're also not paying for followers, thank God.
I mean, first of all, TikTok just kind of sucks at that. I mean, the verification process is the single stupidest process I've ever seen. It's mostly based on whether or not they feel like it on that day. It has nothing to do with whether or not it would make anyone's life better or safer. So that's a huge problem. But also, I mean, the TikTok thing is a totally justified reaction because the entire industry has completely ignored this entire space, you know, where all the people live for its entire existence until like a month ago.
Alex, listen to this, though. Andy writes from X, hey guys, I was listening on TikTok and it is now blocked because I'm in Australia. Government is bringing in digital ID. It sucks. I'm a senior. Hey, Andy, thanks for your comment. I had no idea that there was any kind of crackdown like that.
That's
That is
awful.
just indicative of Web 2 media, man.
But then how are you listening on TikTok if it's
Twitter.
blocked? Or you're on Twitter.
Writing
Okay.
from X, that's
Writing
right.
from X. I was listening on TikTok. My apologies. Dang, dude, TikTok has been making some changes recently, although that's a change within Australia's regulatory agency. But yeah, crazy.
Big sad.
Big
Well,
sad.
That's
Started
why
at
we stream
midnight.
in 38
Dang.
places.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why soon to make it 39, and then 40, and then 41, and then 42.
They add a new place, we stream there.
We stream there.
That's exactly right.
Correct.
If you got a streaming platform, then shill it to us. And if you were wondering if you missed the announcement, we had to reschedule. We're waiting for for a date from the team. Luca Netz, CEO of Pudgy Penguins, Abstract, Igloo, etc. If you want to catch Luca, just to get to know them better, I'm going to ask Will to give us a couple of resources maybe or recommendations, but I would recommend the new podcast that he's co-hosting for Unchained. It's called Uneasy Money, and it's excellent. Do you have a favorite of all the listening that you did to bone up on Luca Netz research episode or appearance or anything like that that was helpful?
No, not a single one, honestly. I mean, I in preparation for the interview with Luca, which is now not going to happen. I don't know when we're going to get scheduled. Probably when Pengu's price performance does better and he actually wants to talk to people. That's my personal suspicion isn't that he was doing too many interviews. It's that like price is really far down and he's like, I don't want to talk about this right now. And I think it might be a little bit because of that. So personally, my personal thoughts. But
Yeah, it's a weird like the CEO of this very visual brand has just gotten a little too much exposure recently. We need to dial it back. That's literally what Base told us too. Like, oh, guys, sorry, we just really can't.
What first world problems?
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy. But no, so like I just went on YouTube, I typed in Luca Netz and I just like kept going through the most recent videos. I went back and it was like, hey, this was posted 3 months ago, and then I just like worked my way up because I watched a lot of interviews to get really highly personal, like personalized questions. And man, I have some really good ones for him if we can ever chat with him. But no, it's just that if you are also going to be in the point where you one day, you viewer, maybe you're a content creator or something, where you're going to interview somebody who like you really want to talk to or who's like really influential in the space and you want them to have a good opinion of you, you should do like the bare minimum background information research on them, because most people I saw in these interviews all asked the exact same basic top level questions and like never got below that. And there were a lot of interviews I could just kind of really speed up through because it was like a same canned response. And that person's not gonna remember. Luca's not gonna remember those people. but he will remember the people who do the research and ask some really cool, fun questions. And he always compliments those people too. So if you ever have the opportunity to interview somebody you want to impress, do some research, create some personalized questions, put some hard work into it, and the work is well worth it. Because there are a lot of like bad, samey interviews, and they will not remember you.
Yeah, one of my favorite interview flexes is to say, a year ago to Laura Shin, you said, and then to like say their own words back to them or something.
Yeah.
If it for just to like let people know, like, hey, I'm listening.
I know you.
I know you. I'm listening to you. Okay, we have a good question rolling in here about what we think for the future, and I have the 8 ball at the ready, but I'd love to hear what you guys think too. With institutions where they are, do you see... with institutions, where do you see crypto in 2026? Bear market, 2027? Just feels like it's not over. I would say crypto is not over. The 8 ball says cash out a bit. Oh, and now it's going to rug you. Cash out a bit is what the 8 ball says. What do you guys think? Institutions being here, is it over? Are we getting a little rally before a bigger bear market? Will, you talk often about 2029. We've heard people say that this cycle is coming right back soon, and so on and so forth. And where are we at?
I don't know. I have a good idea. It's an educated guess, right? No one knows. But the impact of money printing and quantitative easing will be felt in risk on assets, and it will come around to crypto. The big, gigantic boat that is global money printers and the Fed that presence will soon be felt. And by soon, I mean, not as soon as you would think or would want. Like, I'm talking Q2 of next year. So that's, April into June. That's what I'm looking at. I think the people who are really paying attention in the market between now and March are the people that are ultimately going to be having like screenshots of their wallets taken and posted, be like, oh my God, this person just got like a 300x and like a because you were paying attention in this market to see like how crypto projects were changing, who was still developing, who's still getting partnerships that are actually going to be meaningful to create headlines that could create a pump for the coin, but also create more adoption of the project, all that good stuff, right? But that's me. Because the thing is cutting rates, that impact is not felt in markets for about 6 months out. So we started cutting rates again like 3 or 4 months ago. So the impact of these rate cuts aren't going to be felt until like January, February or so. And each rate cut's small. So you have to have them be cumulative. You guys are really tickled about that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The comments today. Leaf said, my body is ready.
It is Leif, for the record.
That's Leif. I'm so sorry, Leif. We Alex and I are like 2 children over here.
Yep. Yeah. But anyway, so that's
gosh.
it. Like the impact of all these rate cuts aren't going to be felt until next year. And so you need a lot of these small rate cuts to really make a meaningful difference in global liquidity. You need the Fed to come out and say, hey, we're going to start putting money into the market by adding to our balance sheet again by this date. And then you have markets start to go up, right? And that's how institutions are playing it, because the thing is this crypto market isn't being run by institutions, it's being influenced by them. But if we look at how things are going up and down this entire year, it's been retail. Retail investors have been the ones buying the ETF products. And right now, retail does not think Bitcoin is digital gold. They saw it as like, hey, there's this thing I've been hearing about for years, but I didn't want to leave BlackRock or Fidelity in order to buy it. And now it's here and I've bought it. And oh, cool, it's great, it's going up. And now all of a sudden it's down 30% in a couple of weeks. I'm not used to that. I'm used to the world of stocks. This thing is garbage. I hate it. And they sell it, right? And it's just your retail investors in the ETF world. It's their first exposure to Bitcoin. They're not used to the volatility of crypto. And they've been selling like hotcakes. They've been selling a lot because they're scared and they're not used to it. That's why Bitcoin is down while the stock market is super up, and gold and silver and copper are all very much so up, because these new investors in the ETF world, these retail investors, don't view it as like a real asset yet because it's new to them. It's brand new to them. Whereas for us, we've been playing with this for like 10 years. Yeah.
A couple of thoughts from the comments. I really like Bond 420, who likes you, they clarified, but was picking on you. They said it's Watson. He doesn't like any coins. Hi, Watson, coin hater. I saw him talk about a number of coins last night on Rise Up After Dark. He downed all of them. He was hating every coin last night. He said,
well, I mean,
no,
everyone was
I
picking
like
coins
Watson.
from like 2023. just like,
Yep.
hey, what are your thoughts on, what was it? There was Injective, ICP. It was like all these coins that were super hot in 2023 into like the beginning of 2024. And I was like, buddy, these coins haven't been hot for a long, long time, man.
Yeah, he said every coin he looked up last night, he had negative things to say about all of them. I also really like this quote from Cosmic here. Put it in the 8 ball or a fortune cookie. One candle can look like an ending or a beginning. The difference is perspective and patience. Very nice, my friend.
This is
That was
so
nice.
deep.
Yeah,
Very
right?
profound.
Personally, I rotated a while ago until the narrative clears up. That's what Transmutationist says, living up to their name. And Robot Steklerish says, in Will's defense, I think about the coins, he ain't wrong. So,
What I did
you.
also say that night is you should look, every single coin you're looking to invest in and you invest in, you should look at the ugliest parts of that investment the hardest. You should grill it. There are bad things you can say, negative things about Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana. You can build that for every single cryptocurrency, every single stock, even gold and silver, right? If you hold something, you should look at the ugliest part of it way harder than you look at the really good things, because you're putting your hard-earned money at work. You put your time and your blood, your sweat and tears into getting those dollar bills or whatever currency you're getting it in. And you are then taking that and putting it at extreme risk by putting it into investment. You should be looking at the ugliest thing. And then when you measure it up against the good things, if it still weighs in the good factor for you, congratulations. You have now earned conviction. You don't have conviction, you earned conviction. And that's a different position to be in.
all I need, says Solom, is one candle to rule them all.
Them all.
And Raging Cajun says, should have done that with my ex-wife. Sometimes you got to rotate, man, but hopefully you find a long-term
Gotta
hold. If you
Rebalance that portfolio.
Oh my God. We are not giving financial or marital advice here on the Rise Up Morning Show, but if you've got a crypto question, then let us know. We would love to hear it. That is, isn't it amazing when a new coin resurges again or some token hangs on? I find myself saying more and more in comments to people, it's one thing like to feel though you've got a pulse in the industry. Alex, you said this just maybe yesterday on Twitter, that if all you do is listen to the narrative on TikTok, for example, you'd think Ethereum was good for nothing. And I feel like the people who speak up in comments on my channel are different than the ones who speak up on Cosmic's channel, are different than the ones who speak up on Facebook, are different than the ones who send us a direct message. And it's always really interesting to me to see which pockets of the internet, what people are paying attention to. The most prevalent narrative I'm seeing, of course, is the whole, you got to back your wallet up to Web3. You got to use a decentralized wallet. Your exchange isn't safe. Your wallet isn't safe. Trying to lure you to a pig butchering scheme, a bad website. But I also see a lot of random tokens. How do I buy whatever coin? Or can I get whatever coin on Coinbase? And I find generally, like if this is you, especially if you're tuning into our show for the first time, welcome. My rule of thumb is like, if I've never heard of it before, and I say me, because we hang out here. If I've never heard of it before, chances are it's probably nothing. If it's a new token and you're hearing about it for the first time and you're new to crypto, you're probably too late. It's probably a liability. And if it's an old token and you're hearing about it for the first time, usually, somebody like Will is going to be like, oh man, this thing again. Or Alex is going to be like, oh God, this thing again. And it's not because, it's not because you're a yoo-hoo or anything like that. It's just because some of these crypto tokens, they have a habit of kind of like coming back from the dead,
Well, it's like I've said many times, crypto gave shitty businesses the ability to stay in business forever with some sort of cash flow because they can trap people into holding an asset that is completely worthless and propped up by nothing except for the desire of everyone stuck with it for it to one day go up again, which causes volatility, which people can make money off of, including the protocol or the project or the business or the company, whoever that created that thing in the first place. And you see this constantly. The fact that people still talk about Gala, I'm looking at you, Stecklerish, is exactly indicative that an absolute band of idiots can create a piece of trash and have it just linger forever, making them money, even though they've never released a meaningful product and no one's doing anything of value. That was really harsh, but like, you would never, like, imagine a world where in a business, like everyone finally realized this thing that they're selling is total nonsense, and they go out of business and they like admit like, we got no clue what's going on. I can't do anything to fix. And people still go to the store and just hand them money for nothing. Like, we feel really bad about it. Here, take my money. That's what you're doing with these old current. That's why we get upset about it, because it's like, these are like tech-based startups in a burgeoning industry. They're mostly going to fail.
Yeah, Jasmy is also a great example of like an old coin that people didn't talk about a lot. Because Jasmy's been around for a while, and the time it was like, we're the Bitcoin of Japan. And if anybody says you're the Bitcoin of this, run for the hills. And it existed, it did its thing, and then it died. But then it came back to life purely based off of conspiracy theories on Twitter, which was that the government of Japan basically said like, hey, we're going to start like building on like some like blockchain projects and stuff. We're going to do like some like Japanese digital citizenship IDs and things, and it's going to be tied to all this stuff. We're going to do all these things. It was like kind of exciting, kind of a little scary for certain things, but like exciting generally to hear the government of Japan's like, hey, we're going to building. So then people were all like, where are they going to build? And people were like, there's one project called Jasmy that has, and the thing is Jasmy had some executive alignment that worked in like different Korean and Japanese businesses. So it was, they're going to build on Jasmy. The government of Japan will choose Jasmy because they have connections with people to the government in these businesses. So obviously it'll be Jasmy. And then they picked this one regulation to be like, that lines up with Jasmy and it'll be great. And people are like, oh my God, it's them, even though it could line up with anybody. So people just took this dead coin, and then they took the fact that Jasmy's people were still going to conferences and be like, see, they're still here and building, and it's going to be the thing. And then Jasmy blew up. Even though Jasmy doesn't have like a single leg to stand on in terms of like it being used or valuable or really actually being positioned to be used and built by the government of Japan, nor was there any evidence of the government of Japan building on it. But this coin came back to life purely based off of the rumor mill that is, crypto social media. And then it became a good coin to trade. But like, it's just one of these old coins that happened to get lucky.
Leif says in the comments, I worked for one of those back in 2020, and I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's a really popular like reply chain going around on Twitter with one particular article. I can put it in the description. I don't know that I have the ability to search for it really quickly, that details a person's disillusionment with the crypto industry. The thrust of the article is basically like, I spent 8 years building a casino, thinking I was going to change the world, but realizing too late that everything I was working on was basically just vaporware, and now I can't get a job at a bank or another financial institution or another tech company because they don't see my skills as being serious. Some people have real serious skills in the crypto industry, but me, I wasted it all, and I've done fine, but now I'm stepping away, or something like that. Have you seen that one?
I did, but I can't say I like paid much attention to it because it that kind of stuff is like noise to me as I look for like data releases by the government.
Yeah. Honestly, you didn't miss anything. I am sometimes surprised by how it was kind of low. It wasn't prose. It asked for 5 minutes of my time that I'll never get back. It was not as insightful or as well written as I would expect something that generated that much attention and engagement to be. And it was a good reminder that no, like the middle of the curve is where everybody's attention goes. And I don't know, it was a reminder of what Kevin Owocki said that I cannot stop thinking about. Most of what happens in crypto is well-intentioned mediocrity. And people either realize it too late or they never realize it, get burned out, and leave. Somebody in the comments, asked, how do you find new projects? And my answer is, honestly, I don't. If something is new or trying to sell itself to me as novel or the next, the Bitcoin of Japan or whatever. I mostly don't pay attention to crypto products until they have some semblance of product market fit, unless they have like a meaningful partnership that brings them customers or exposure or money or revenue. I certainly don't buy them. I think there are people who chase what I would call pumps and speculative like up and downs. I don't know many of those people who make money, and I certainly don't make money when I spend my time doing that. I also just don't enjoy it as much. Do you guys you guys aren't really looking for the new projects?
I mean, I look for it like now. It's like this is the time. It's funny, like my content started switching a little bit more from like macro into even before the whole TikTok algorithm changed. So I kind of have to change some things. But I was talking like a little bit more about like, hey, upgrades on Ethereum and upgrades here in Solana and other things. And I'm starting to like naturally dip into my bear market vibe, which is really looking at like what's coming next in the space and trying to analyze what the problems are and like what solutions could really provide some big money making opportunities. Because for those of you who don't know, I'm fairly well known for getting into Aerodrome at 5 cents. I got lucky with PopCat and got a 127x, but that doesn't matter. Got Morpho really early as well at whatever it was. I forget, 35 cents, I think, for Morpho. And like finding some of these like early coins that end up doing very, very well. And it's because when things are beaten down in price, go on something like DeFi Llama. I really like investing in DeFi projects because you can really easily track what's getting adopted or not, and therefore what's probably going to get talked about. So like a while ago, I started taking a look at the market in 2023, being like, all right, bear market, what could really potentially be hot? And on that list was Base. And I made videos about Base being like, this is going to be the next layer 2. And I got made fun of, which would be crazy to hear today. My comment section was like, Base, what, Base? And I was like, yeah, it's made by Coinbase. Why don't you think? It's like, no one uses it. And I was like, yeah, because it's brand new, but it's about to be. What are you talking about? And I got made fun of for being like, yeah, Base will be big one day. That's all I said. But the thing is like, I was just taking a look at the bear market. I was taking a look at who could potentially fix some problems, get some adoption. And then I started measuring on DeFi Llama, how much money was actually being put on it. Was it growing? And then I started looking within those ecosystems to find like what would be the key infrastructure. And that's how I found Aerodrome. And then I saw Morpho was doing great and they had a coin release. And I was like, this is probably going to get talked about a lot. But that's it. That's how I find new projects to get in early. I find what's getting adoption. I check DeFi Llama like once a week. You don't have to be too crazy about it. And just see what's growing and then start to make some, little bets here and there. Doesn't always pan out, but when it does, it typically is pretty damn good.
I want to have one of our clippers make a compilation of Will saying pretty damn good. That's pretty damn risky. That's pretty damn whatever. That's going to be my new favorite compilation, man. It's coming to a screen near you.
I'm going to love that.
Okay, so we've got a lot of different comments, people sharing their perspectives. Seems like Ragin' Cajun says, the days of spray and pray are over. These days, you got to have close, calculated plays. Just in Keith Music says, I like small caps to make quick money to invest in stable coins. And Fade Will, can't pay your bills from Leif. Watson started talking like the 1% elite again. Everybody is just coming after you. I love that the audience calls you
it's
Watson.
Perfect.
Watson.
Yeah, Watson. No one's called me Watson since my football coach. Brings up like some PTSD of running hills.
We had a question when we were talking about resurrected tokens. Rusty, hey Rusty, over on TikTok asked, what do you think about XLM long term? And I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk a little more about like a difficult to parse through. It's got one kind of narrative I see on Facebook, on TikTok, on YouTube, but we have a lot of friends who work there or have worked there, and I feel like the work they are focused on is very different than the work people talk about a lot on social media, which mostly has to do with their token. I hear people say XRP is gold, XLM is silver. It's going to be part of the new financial system. And they definitely are interested in changing the financial system. But for my money, they seem more interested on stable coins. And I know, Will, you suggested DeFi Llama, that they particularly are underreported on some dashboards. Yeah. Alex, do you have a pulse on this one? Or if you don't have a pulse on the numbers, could you maybe just give a quick take on some of the work that we know Stellar is doing? And also, I would be curious to know, I can look up their like market cap. If you think they are overvalued, undervalued, or appropriately valued as like a crypto company.
So that's a great example of an ecosystem that could be awesome, but kind of isn't. And it's largely the fault of like the people in charge of it. They are everywhere. They are heavily integrated with all kinds of stuff. I personally know a lot of people that have worked there. I personally know a lot of really great people who have been pushed out of there, which is a problem. I don't know. Their whole problem could really be probably summed up just by saying it's an image problem. Because I mean, they're one of the few ecosystems that has like people out in the world just like legitimately onboarding people who Web3 was actually technically built for, in line with the original ethos. And yet that never gets any of the attention. And they sort of allow these ridiculous conspiracy theories to just sort of fly because they think that's going to be the thing that keeps the token relevant, instead of the fact that actually there's quite a bit of pretty aggressive building happening over there. As a result, those things they really struggle with adoption because there's a massive marketing problem. And yeah, that actually really sends me off into a tangent that we don't have to get to. But have you guys noticed that there's a pretty, like, right now the trend on Twitter is just like getting heavily involved in the crypto marketing conversation? And the two opinions are it's a massive problem, and the other conflicting opinion is it's not even remotely a problem.
Yeah.
No, I can't say that's my Twitter feed.
Let's rant on it in a second. The other thing I haven't noticed is that it's about time for Will to run out the door and ride his dog and pony. So let me defer this question to say, Will, final thoughts? Last minute topics?
Yeah, last minute topics. Two things to put on people's radar screen is one is there's a very popular topic going around on my Twitter feed, which is highlighting the pattern that Bitcoin performs terribly at the open of US stock markets. It basically every single time when the stock market opens, Bitcoin falls. People are highlighting that it's most likely Jane Street that holds $2.5 billion of BlackRock's IBIT ETF, their Bitcoin ETF. It's their fifth largest position. Seems like it's them. I haven't done the research on it though, so I need to dig into it to see if there's any meat to that. But the data is that if you're looking to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, the opening of the stock market typically sends Bitcoin down immediately. That seems to be like the best time of day if you're looking to set a time of day for your dollar cost average for Bitcoin. The other thing I wanted to point out is that Coinbase is like really integrating itself directly with banks. So they announced that there's a Coinbase integration with PNC. So PNC private bank clients can now access Bitcoin trading directly within their banking experience. So it looks like the Coinbase platform is being just integrated directly into banks, which is very good for Coinbase. It's probably going to be good for their stock. It's also going to be good for probably bringing people onto Base, the layer 2, in the future, because you're going to get access directly to clients who are just operating within their banking infrastructure and interfaces. So just two things I wanted to put on everybody's radar screen, and then I got to go. But I'll see you guys. Wait, is today Wednesday? Is today Tuesday? What's the day today? Tuesday. So we don't have a night show today.
Episode 420, man.
Yeah, 420. Crazy. Forgetting everything. But I got to run, so I'll see you guys on the interwebs, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's your friend and mine, Mr. Will Watson. See you soon, man. On our way back to the stellar thing and the marketing thing, I wanted to highlight this comment from Bob Faubel. Hey, Bob. It's great to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. He's listening on Facebook. He says, and I will not read all of this for people on the screen share, but wanted to give him his roses. He's new to crypto. He's been listening to a lot of different people online, and it's really frustrating because it's difficult to tell what's true and what's not. But he has been listening to our shows. He's been talking to ChatGPT, which honestly, especially for new to crypto content, I recommend. And it's starting to make sense to him so much that he's started to show other senior citizens how to navigate the crypto space. And I want to say, welcome. Big rise up to you. Did you know that crypto does not discriminate? It doesn't matter if you're old or young. And in fact, we have a lot of friends who are classified as senior citizens. I'm trying to pull it up now, but I really wanted to highlight the work of our friend Sandra Abrams. She goes by Sababa sometimes and also by Onboard 60. That's her brand. She has helped a number of senior citizens specifically understand crypto, artificial intelligence, and all kinds of internet era technologies. If you're looking for a good resource, I know that you can find her online. This is actually a Delphi she created. She's always doing new cool stuff. She's the one who turned me on to this. Delphi is like ChatGPT, but you can make it for yourself. So Alex or Will or I could go on and upload things we've written. We could upload episodes of the show. So it would know how we talk, what we think about. It would have our knowledge, and then you could query it. But I just wanted to show you Sandra's picture because they do wonderful work. And you can find them on X, LinkedIn. Just Google Sandra Abrams Onboard 60. And you should reach out, Bob, and let them know that we sent you. Because we want all the young and old to learn about crypto. Now, Alex, you mentioned this marketing conversation, and I thought that might be an appropriate time just to show the Stellar chart quickly before we get deeper into it. This is CoinMarketCap's fancy little dashboard. I pulled this up because I actually thought their colors matched our morning show colors better than CoinGecko. So, shout out to CoinMarketCap. Look at that. People in podcast land, they got the dark, the green, the blue. Stellar, as you can see, has enjoyed a couple of spikes during bull runs and then has kind of come back down. What that tells me is that the market thinks that this token belongs at one of these troughs, around 10 to 20 cents of value, and that speculation, the best driver of the price of any cryptocurrency ever, can take something like this, which is on the front page of the internet, and run it up when people are feeling FOMO or talking a lot about it. And there's no better marketing, Alex, than number go up. So what do you think about the state of crypto marketing? You said you think that the Stellar team is at once doing the work, but that there are some people there who are out of touch. Do you feel like they're telling a good story? Do you feel like their marketing is effective? Do you feel like this is just indicative that they've been here a long time, and when the market goes up, they catch the wave?
Yes, that one.
And yeah, that's kind of what I think too.
A chart that looks like that means that nothing sustainable is happening from an optics perspective that promotes a steady growth in the token economy for that ecosystem. It just means that when things get really frothy in the markets and people are like, ugh, it's like, hey, this is a thing that has pumped before, it could do it again, which primes a very speculative spike up. And if you'll notice what happens immediately after that, it just bleeds until it gets back down to the bottom again.
And a lot of the time what's happening is tokens are trading hands. Somebody who's been holding it, waiting for a pump. When it pumps, the thing that brings it back down is all those people who've been holding it and are tired, they sell. And everybody who's hearing about it for the first time, usually it's not uncommon that we say FOMO in. They get fear of missing out, and they buy while it's going up. And then it starts to go down, and it's below the price they bought it at, so they feel like they've got to hold on to it, or else they've made a bad decision. Most charts don't look like Stellar's chart. Most charts never come up again. The reason Stellar's chart has 3 strong peaks, or XRP's chart has several strong peaks, or ICP's chart has several strong peaks, is because these tokens, when they had their first peak, the foundations, the companies that manage these tokens, they made enough money to survive the bear market. Getting to the next peak is all about, do you have enough money to be a relevant brand in the bear market? Can you pay a couple $1,000,000 to sponsor some conferences, to buy some influencers, to hire a team of people to build something, to fund a grants program? Alex, what you looking at?
I was just wondering if you could show me where the strong peaks were in the ICP chart.
Yeah,
I have this.
You got
I have this
no,
chart here, and I was wondering maybe we could do a little bit of technical analysis. On this one. This one is even simple enough to where an eye could analyze this chart.
Alex, this is the Godzilla's chart of all time. But what you need to do is, can you adjust? Let me just show the people on TikTok. Podcast Land, if you've never seen the ICP chart, do yourself a favor and Google it. It looks like the new most popular roller coaster at Cedar Point. Just a huge drop. Can you zoom, Alex? Drag the slider at the left so the chart actually starts at like 2023. Bottom left. A little lower. Put your mouse a little lower.
Hold on.
That little, the gray bars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drag it to start at 2023, and then you're going to see what I'm talking about.
Oops, shit. Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. The ones at the bottom there. Take it to the max. You see?
Okay. Yep.
You see, and now it's like a gauge. No, not that one. Down a little further. That one. There you go.
Got it.
Podcast Land is like, the hell.
Okay.
Now you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Sure.
And if you took it out even a little further to the left, you would see that again. It's got like a spike.
If you look real close, you can see some signs of life.
Yeah. So it's got these spikes where it bumps up to, 15 to 20 to 10. And then the market says, no, I think you're really worth about $5. And that's what happens.
Yep.
So the marketing conversation is interesting because ICP has enough money. Stellar has enough money. Cardano has enough money. XRP has enough money. Okay? XRP, I actually think, has the most interesting of all those I just mentioned, like business strategy. They acquired Hidden Road. They have been...
Listen, we have to be crystal clear that there are two very distinct things in that ecosystem.
Yeah.
One is token related and the other is not. The one that is not is the one that has all the business. The one that is the token just is sort of there. And that's the thing that bothers the most people. If that immediately made you angry, then I'm sorry, but I'm not the problem.
You want me to get that? That could be one of your conference shirts this year. I'm not the problem.
Yeah, but I am often a problem.
This is a gross misrepresentation of facts, but
I would still like that.
I am a big fan of this.
Yeah, I am the problem. I think Christina would like you to have that shirt too, probably. Okay, it's 8:06 here, which means it's 9:06 there, which means wherever you are, whenever you listen, we've got a few more minutes before we got to ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset. We have a meeting with Unlock Protocol, partners of the show today, and we are so excited to get to work with them on something cool for you. So, let us know what questions you have. Let us know if you have a final prediction, good joke, word of wisdom. Solom says, Alex is the solution. Just ask me. And Baja Bound says, don't hate the player.
Correct.
This marketing conversation was an interesting one yesterday because the people who were all saying that it is not a problem, interestingly, were engineers, which I thought was interesting. Like one of the loudest critics of the claim that marketing is an issue in crypto was Mert. And he was just like, he was like, stop blaming marketing for the fact that you have a crappy product. And I'm like, okay, listen, that is fair. But the things with the best marketing also kind of have the crappiest product. And we don't need to belabor it, but.
No. That's, I'm glad you brought it back to this because the point I wanted to make was I feel like a lot of the loudest voices in the crypto marketing conversation on the side of marketing are generally talking about what I would call like soft marketing. I saw a tweet about this to the end that I used to work at Google, they said. And my first day there, the VP of marketing asked me what I thought marketing was. And they said, yeah, it's creating a brand and generating awareness around it and getting content that pushes that out into the world. And then people echo that messaging and we get no. And she said, no. It's taking a look at the product data sets and then pushing the engineers to lean into the things that people react to the strongest as they build next. Now go to work. And the point was like on crypto Twitter, I feel like I see a lot of conversation around soft marketing from marketers who are like, oh, you need to stop hiring KOLs and post content where people are. And what I would consider like marketing at Coca-Cola or at Google or whatever is like, spend a ton of money on ads, read a ton of data, have a ton of spreadsheets, A/B test everything, build a funnel that's recursive, look at every, I don't know. It's just much more like product and revenue and data focused than what I feel like people are talking about on crypto Twitter when they talk about marketing. And it's not
because there's almost no real marketers in this industry.
Yeah.
The whole thing is driven by influencers.
That's what I mean. It's a lot more of that well-intentioned mediocrity that we see everywhere else. It's like crypto people on the bleeding edge of technology, but also crypto people, no critical thinking.
I mean, maybe it's the pessimist in me. I would genuinely say I don't even think it's well-intentioned. I think it's misguided, and I think that's the nicest thing you could say about most of it.
Yeah, misguided.
Because our like attention span is getting shorter with this, which is insane. When you like the only thing that you need to make one of these things last and like be genuinely good is retention. And that is like, it's not, I can't even call it the gold standard in any other business model because it's just a given. Like if you were to talk to literally anyone running any business anywhere in the world, would they rather have 1,000 customers who come to them one time or 100 customers who come to them every week for the next 10 years? It's an obvious choice. And yet crypto's like, hey, let me get that 1,000 right now. I don't really give a shit what happens in 6 minutes. And there you go. And that's the vibe. Look at midnight. It's down 50% today because that's the mentality. Yeah, of course it is. Everything that drops immediately craters. It's just, it's sad. And we keep doing the same thing over and over again. So like, I don't know. I think anyone who looks at this and says there's no problem with like the way that we are doing it, and the justification for saying it's not a problem is that plenty of people know about it. I'm like, first of all, that is indicative of the fact that you live in an echo chamber and you're siloed and you've never gone outside. For every one person who knows something helpful about crypto, there's 10,000 who know the wrong thing and 100,000 who've never heard of it. So it's a massive problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not. That's not my opinion. It's an objective fact.
I found this tweet, Alex, and I want to read it to you, and because it's better than what I said. On my first day as a marketing intern at Google, the CMO asked me, what is good marketing? I responded confidently, it's all about creative branding, advertising, effective PR, essentially Mad Men. She laughed. No. Now, query these product data tables. Tell the engineers which new features to test next so that the product itself creates a perpetual loop that brings in more users. And if you can't figure that out, construct a top or a mid-funnel program around the product that creates a perpetual loop of user growth. Public comms, viral content, branding, advertising, etc. are all important components of marketing. However, they are indirect. The end purpose of marketing is to grow a product's usage and revenue generation. There are direct ways to do that, but this person said, I don't see much of that in crypto. And then that exactly funnels into Mert's point, which I think you said nicely, was basically build better products.
Build better products, and then just have anybody who actually cares about doing exactly that, growing revenue and driving actual growth, instead of making a bag. The motivation for not every, 99% of crypto marketing and promotion is making a bag. I mean, literally, how many times have you seen a live stream or a video where someone's like, here's this thing, it's probably crap, and every comment's like, hey, get that bag. It's like, yep, this is the reason that it all sucks. Because a bunch of short-sighted nincompoops are driving the entire thing out of a desire to get rich quick.
Yeah, and the way exactly is you built something no one needs. They don't want it. They don't need it. Sorry about it. It kind of reminds me of when people say I'm in 200 view jail on TikTok or whatever, and mostly I'm just like, well, you might be in jail, but probably you posted a piece of content that nobody wants to consume. That's your audience giving you feedback that they're not interested.
Okay. I want to highlight something because I see this all the time. First of all, DGen Queen, good to see you. I'm not picking on you at all. You just made the perfect comment for me to make this point. Such and such a project has not started marketing. Why? Do you know how many times I've heard the phrase like, oh, they just haven't started marketing yet. Can you give me a single good reason why? No, you cannot. There is no reason not to start telling people about the thing you're either about to build, currently building, or have built. Those are the 3 stages of a thing. All 3 of those stages, it's possible to describe to somebody what's happening. And if you're not doing it, you're doing it wrong. I'm sorry. Like I swear I'm not trying to pick on you at all. That's just like, that makes me very angry. That triggers me so hard because you're just wasting time. You're wasting time in a space where attention is the most valuable metric, and you're not even trying to get any of it because what you think something's not ready. Spoiler alert, it's never going to be ready. And by the time you finally get around to telling someone that the thing exists, it's outdated. And no one gives a shit because they didn't know you were building anything in the first place. Look at Ethereum. Ethereum is the perfect example. Okay? They are technically lagging every time they do like a scalability advancement or some sort of major upgrade. Like, what did Fusaka do? Fusaka was great, but really what it did was bring it more in line with the things that it's competing against years after the fact, years after they all existed. And the reason it was not a problem is because Ethereum never stops telling people about what it is that's coming or what they're doing. That brand has been built. I think it could be significantly better and bigger and, made people more aware. That's what the whole Octane thing is really working on. But at the end of the day, they're not like ignoring everyone and not talking and then waiting for 3 years until this big thing is done. And then they're like, okay, now we're ready to tell someone about it. You have to make people aware ahead of time. This is why crypto projects languish and die, because they don't understand the very basics of communication. If shitty comms.
Dude, I was talking to somebody at the conference, my friend Infi. Shout out Infi. And I really want to have them. He works, I will not dox them at this time. He works at a competitor to like Uniswap, CowSwap, SushiSwap. It's a faster, better swap that has a really elegant solution to route your transactions, a way that saves you time, saves you money, and it's on-chain, verifiable. It's really good. And he was telling me how sometimes he's frustrated by the higher-ups at his company who are reluctant to talk about their product. They're reluctant to spend any money or time on really marketing because they want to perfect the solution. And we had this exact conversation, Alex. I was like, I don't understand. They don't want to talk about the product before they launch it because they don't think. I was like, how are people going to find out about it? I saw the thing and it was great. It worked well. I was like, this is an awesome product. Where are you talking? He said, we're not talking about it. I said, it's ready, dude. He said, no, they don't feel like it's ready. And I said, what? I said, no, of course I've only heard of CowSwap. You know why I like CowSwap? Because it works, because it's good. Yeah, your product might be better, but they also have a cute little moo that people tweet about whenever you complete a swap. I was like, it's so good. It's so brilliant because they're talking about it. Because people enjoy talking about it, because they enjoy using it. I don't know.
I've had this exact conversation with basically every company that we've talked to that we're not working with. And it usually ends the same way. And that's not to say that everyone who's not working with us is doing it wrong, because that's not the case. I do not believe that. We're not the best partner for everybody. But if the conversation ends with someone saying, like, I think that this is important and I think that this would be valuable for us and it's really good and we don't want to start yet, let's start again in 6 months when we feel like we have something to talk about. I'm like, if you're at this stage where you and I have met and you don't think you have anything to talk about, you do not understand your own brand, your own product, your own whatever. And so, like, why am I dying on this hill right now? Because everyone here, I would assume, is interested in investing. There was a comment earlier about like what are you guys doing to like look for new projects? That I'm looking for any indication that somebody building a thing has any vague idea of how to not just build a thing. Jay Heat made a comment like that responsibility often falls to the dev. I agree, and that's weak. Devs are shitty marketers, and they don't have to be good ones. That's not their job. Their job is to make a product that works, and then they are supposed to be helped by people who can tell the story. That's the foundation's job. Every blockchain has multiple facets, right? And it's all legal structure. There's a lab, there's a foundation, and then there's some sort of, core group of engineers type of a thing. And those engineers have a responsibility to make compelling things that work well, that are safe and, consistent and can be used. And then the foundation has the job of like making sure that the whole thing is working and flowing properly. The lab oversees building. And then between the foundation and the lab, someone has to be bringing in users and telling people about the things that their engineers are making. Look at Polkadot. Polkadot pays, well, first of all, they're a bad example because they do spend a lot in marketing and it's just awful, embarrassing. But they genuinely believe that they have great engineers making stuff and eventually people will just show up. They genuinely believe that.
Yeah, I wanted to give some examples that speak to this comment from Solom, that if you talk about it and it's not ready, then your big boys will take the idea and beat you. And I just don't think there's a historical precedent for that. Apple announced the iPhone in 2007 when competitors like BlackBerry, Palm, Nokia all had smartphones with email, with apps, with touch screens. Tesla had competitors with EVs like Nissan and Chevy and BMW, but they opened all these pre-orders way before their prototypes were even complete. They marketed their way into product success. Dropbox did this. Airbnb did this. Netflix did this. The history, and especially startup history, is full of examples of people who had competitors who marketed themselves into really great product market fit. And even if you have an idea that's novel, like nobody's actually ever done this kind of thing before, you can still market your way into success. Elon did that with SpaceX. There wasn't really a private rocket company, a reusable rocket company, but he talked about it. And I think partially, especially when you're building big tech, when you shoot so high, like you have such lofty ambitions, who's going to compete with you? Less people will compete with you when you aim higher. It's very crowded at the middle, you know. Try to launch a drive-through restaurant in 2025, the year of our Lord. You know what I mean? Good luck. But build a private reusable rocket company, you might have a chance, man. There are a lot of such examples.
Yeah, I don't know. I've Solom's follow-up comment is true, but they were heavily funded. I think there's validity to that, but at the same time, lots of people often who have an idea are very like protective of it, and they think that they can't share the idea and talk about the thing because, like, exactly what you said, right? Someone with more resources is going to take it. Unless that idea, I would say, is like a very specific earth-shattering like piece of something that could be stolen and used specifically to do a thing. You know, I'm talking about like some pharmaceutical formula or some very specific piece of code that does something never before seen or whatever. First of all, protect it with a patent. It's not that hard. Second of all, that's generally not the case. People have like an idea for a new application of something that already exists. In general, and this has been my experience overwhelmingly in this industry in particular, no one's like scouting looking for ideas to steal. Everyone's building relatively the same product. It's a blockchain. If it's a layer one, it's fast and cheap. And maybe there's like some sort of catchy bumper sticker about why this one is different or special, but at its core, it's the exact same thing. You can market it differently. Oh, this one's for payments. Oh, this one's for stablecoins. Oh, this one's for DeFi. Or this one's for whatever. Yeah, okay. Look at Say. Say was very specifically built in theory with a specific consensus mechanism called open order book that was, in theory, perfect for DeFi. Guess who's still smoking them in the DeFi arena? Everybody. Say never told that story. I never once saw a single post about why open order book consensus is better for DeFi. Unless I was like digging into some like really, really lengthy, bland, boring white paper kind of a thing. Sui did better than them, and their consensus mechanism, which is called Narwhal and Tusk, first of all, fun fact, is like exponentially worse for DeFi compared on a surface level to open order book. Because, you know, open order book in theory could solve the problem with like sandwich attacks and stuff like that. But no one ever told that story. I've seen one single video comparing those two things because they launched at the same time and everyone on earth wanted to know which one do I buy, Say or Sui. Guess who made the video that talked about the difference between their two consensus mechanisms and why one is better than the other for this or that?
You.
Yeah. And it's the only piece of content I ever saw about it. Never saw an article, never saw it. And I looked because I was trying to reference it when I was like learning about it. But I don't know. I do reject that. I think that if you have a thing, especially if a lot of it is an idea, like an application of something that does exist that you think could exist better, then talk about it. You got nothing to lose. If someone tries to steal it from you, then you should tell your story louder and harder.
Tell your story louder and harder. For some reason, I'm picturing you with Braveheart, like blue paint on your face.
That's how I feel a lot of the time.
That's how you sound a lot of the time, Alex. But like,
except it's like instead of
version.
Big on a stage, like yelling to a large crowd, I'm like little in the corner, just yelling at the wall.
Just absolutely dying on this hill.
Absolutely die on this hill.
Okay, it's that time, friends. We've got to share our final thoughts, last questions, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom before we ride our dogs and ponies truly into the sunset, by which I mean a meeting with our friends at Unlock Protocol. Thank you all for being here. If you got a question we don't get to, then head on over to community.rumshq.com. It is a great free place to connect with us, to connect with all the friends in our audience and global community, to learn about crypto, to ask a question, share what you know, and we say, rise up together. I would absolutely love to see you there. And before you go, don't forget, if you're on TikTok, to take a look at the Arculus product. If you need a cold storage wallet, they sell it in the TikTok shop. It's the official Arculus account, real, verified. Or head over to getarculus.com. I mentioned TikTok shop specifically because we've got a link in the live and because they have a discount there. You can use the code ARCURUMS10 on the TikTok shop, or the code RUMS10 at getarculus.com to get an additional 10% off your order. Alex, what you got, man? I
just wanted to say I went off a little bit there. I'm very aware that everyone who's like asking questions and engaging is listening to what I'm saying. I was kind of more decrying the people who are running this entire industry that refuse to see the writing on the wall. We're all, usually the groups like everyone here hanging out with us, spending with us, you guys are the ones that I'm talking about to industries when I'm like, people are interested and you're not making even a single effort to talk to them. So I'm screaming at the wall when I stand in a place like Twitter and describe the problem that I'm seeing. That's when I'm screaming at a wall. Here we're
in the comments on Arena, Rodney Amore said that he thought you were hang on. I think he called you, yes, a wisdom machine. Alex, you're a wisdom machine. You ever been called that before?
Yeah. Nope, never, but I'll take it.
Yeah, like and his head is going to be a little bit heavier all day.
A little bit. Just what it needed.
Christina's like, why?
Christina's like, stop.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't worry, she'll remind me that I'm human.
You got anything else to say before we run on away?
In the world of shoutouts, I've been spending a tremendous amount of time trying to build frameworks that I can share with people easily to get people involved in DeFi. And I wanted to shout out, Scott, also on Facebook, watching from the UK, enjoys the straightforward breakdowns and the terminology. I'm a beginner using Coinbase, but want to learn more about decentralized exchanges. And that is the goal. I think that's the ultimate goal. And I've gotten myself to the point where I don't really use centralized exchanges except very briefly to on-ramp. And in that case, I care very much about the experience that I get there, how safe and secure I feel with that particular exchange. I care about what products are in their ecosystem too, because, as I transition custody away from the exchange to myself, if there's things that are in that environment that I can use that are cool and exciting, like Coinbase has Base and there's a lot of stuff you can do there. Kraken has Inc, which is a lot newer, growing, that kind of a thing. That's interesting. Binance, of course, has the BSC, all this sort of stuff. But at the same time, my goal is to get my specific assets into the world of DeFi so I can put them to work for me as hard as I possibly can with, a myriad of options and do stuff. And I do, of course, want to highlight partner of the show, Jito, because I have really grown to enjoy the way that the way that they have set that path up. I think one of the things that hurts the ability for a DeFi protocol to grow with new users is that there's a big barrier to entry. Even if on its face to a crypto native, it feels really seamless. I always think about our friend Nicky Scanello used to work at Marinade. He was like, well, yeah, it's very easy. You just connect your wallet and stake. And I'm like, yes, to you, that's very easy. But to someone starting from scratch, that's not easy. There's lots of steps there and we have to cover a lot of things before we get there. And that's Jito's whole thing, right? We need to solve that little problem and then get them into this ecosystem where there's all these options. And we've laid out all these paths forward that you can take to, discover Camino and provide liquidity here. And Camino has a great vehicle where that's even easier than it has been before. And we can learn about restaking, you can learn about looping, you can learn about the tip router and all this kind of stuff. Plus BAM, we haven't even talked about BAM yet. Still kind of learning a little bit more about it. It's very technical, so we'll go into it more later. I need to probably get an engineer on to help me cover that one. But
what's BAM? Because I'm thinking of Jam, which is Polkadot. What's BAM?
The non-technical answer is that it's a pathing fix for Solana. Right now, when a transaction is routed on Solana, the path of that transaction is not known. It's a little bit up in the air. It could go a number of different directions, which you can demonstrate for yourself if you go to like SolScan and you can follow a path on the Blockchain Explorer, and it's just a mess. There's a lot of places, and so BAM is like streamlining that.
Alex, I love you, but
they get it.
Nope.
What?
We can have it on the show. If anybody can make it fun, it's you. And my friends, when it happens, we will tell you about it. I'm rugging you because we have a meeting that starts in 15 seconds. So thank you.
Oh, see, we're early.
As always, for being the very best part of what we do. If you're here with us, you're early. And we will be back tomorrow, same time, same place with Brandon and Jerry. We can't wait to connect with you again. Until then, everybody, stay safe, be well. My friends, rise up.